Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night Podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I host a lot of shows. I'm sorry about that. I'm Roy Kennedy, and with me today is Kent.
Hello.
Courtney.
Hi.
Matt.
Hello.
Adam. And the one and only Robert Newman.
Hello.
Hopefully we have audio for everybody. I was telling everybody I set up a new computer for work, and this is gonna be an experience. I was like trying to be like, oh yeah, I have to set up for this podcast. You know, don't mute yourself and like make it worse for me, Rob. Come on.
Kent does that to me all the time. He'll just mouth the words, and he's not really say anything, and he just likes to make me say what.
It's just so delightful.
Oh.
What I have to live with.
He's like, she's an eye doctor, not an ear doctor. She'll never figure this out.
But the topic that we chose a long time ago and like had this planned for weeks is board games to play with your parents. Especially since Mother's Day is coming up, you know. So maybe you'll play a game with your mom and stuff.
That's how I picked mine, just based on my mom.
Aww. But yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and get into some of the news items here. We have several different things going on with the news. And so I guess the first bit of news, I actually haven't seen this unless it's something that I don't know what it is. The Long Dark Sea adventure card game.
So this was my contribution to the news this week, and in typical Adam fashion, it's just because it looks so good.
Crazy looking cover, though.
I think this has actually been on GameFound for a couple weeks, but it popped up when I was just browsing around trying to waste money, I think, and it really. And I think the group here will find this intriguing. The thing that's a little bit tough about it, and maybe someone who's a better Spanish speaker, Rob, could go watch these videos, because it's a Spanish designer who I don't recognize his name from anything, but it is a cooperative deck builder, kind of adventure battler, but it's like sci-fi fantasy. So you have
interesting.
A ship, a main character, a sidekick, and then you build a deck with like a point system, probably akin to like
Arkham Horror.
Oh yeah, like Arkham Horror. Yeah, so you have 60 XP for this, 40 XP for this, 30 XP for this, and then same thing. You have like an XP system to build like your enemy deck, or you can do like predetermined decks based on a campaign. It also has like a market phase where you flip the board over and there's different merchants and stuff, so you can kind of upgrade. But I think you're mostly building with a predetermined deck.
Interesting.
There's quick rules, but there's not a full rule book yet, so it's got a little bit of kind of almost like Ashes meets Marvel Legendary sort of vibe, at least. Don't think that the English translation is like the greatest, because there's a few things that seem unclear when I'm reading it. But it looks really, really slick, and it's only $75 for the base pledge. And if it did play anything like Ashes and Marvel Legendary had a baby, but it was a science fiction fantasy baby, then I want this. So it looks really cool. Definitely think you should check it out.
Yeah, this looks incredible.
The artwork looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, and I think for me too, one of the things that I like about like Ashes, or that I've liked, or I guess Ashes with the co-op stuff, or that I like about Marvel Legendary, or even like oh shoot, I'm losing the name of that other science fiction game. The big monster battler where you have like the portal wizards and you're stopping them from crashing into the town. You guys.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh my goodness. Why do I have a mental block too?
Aeon's End.
Aeon's End.
Yeah, Aeon's End. Like I like those type of games because they tend. I mean, I guess Legendary doesn't have a quick setup, but they tend to be like a little bit easier to set up than like a real massive dungeon crawl or something, and you can get a lot of content into the box because it's all card based. And as long as the card art is done really well and like the scenarios and the themes are fun, like I feel like these games, I don't know, they always really appeal to me. So,
a lot of times they're pretty easy to set up, but terrible to tear down because you have to sort everything back out.
Yeah.
It's like
hopefully it's got a good insert and a good management system for like the different cards and different cards, because this seems to be slightly more complex than like Legendary, at least from my reading of it.
Well, that style of game is like my favorite kind of game, like ever. I love that stuff. Campaign is kind of hard sometimes, but if it's really cool, I mean, that would be kind of worth it. Does it go? What's the player count? Is it like 1 to something?
Looks like 1 to 4 on
It's
BGG.
1 to 4.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it says that it's 1 to 4, and it
Una cuatro.
I couldn't spit out. I can't spit out any words. I'm done.
Well, looks cool.
It's a new. It looks like a new publisher. I don't recognize the designer. I think it's their only game. So hopefully it's good. It looks really neat.
Well,
Yeah,
hopefully,
if the production value matches what GameFound's got, I mean,
hopefully it does well, and we can find some sort of review place to like review it or something. I don't know, and figure out if it's any good. But yeah, the next one here is Brothers Murph Season 8. I love the Brothers Murph. They're super awesome. And apparently they're doing a Kickstarter.
Yeah, so they did a Kickstarter I think 3 years ago, and they haven't done one. They haven't done a GameFound or any kind of. They just do normal like Patreon and kind of stuff and donations through that. But they're doing. I think they moved off of Twitch. And they're pretty much primarily on YouTube at this point.
Oh wow!
But they make some really good board game content. They always add in the humor. They're just high energy, a lot of fun. And this campaign they have an unmatched set you can get.
Yes.
Which is you can play as them in their unmatched set. There's little standees. But they're also, I think you might be able to get the STL files for the miniatures for them, and you can have them fight the T-Rex.
Did you download that?
I didn't. I don't have a. I have the set from the previous campaign, but I don't have the miniatures or anything or the
gotcha,
files
cool.
for it. But and then there's a card game that I think I don't know. It's just like a little micro card game put in there with art by Beth Sobel. And I think it's just helping them fundraise, essentially. Somebody designed the game, put it in there, and is helping them to kind of support their channel and what they do with the board game content and all that. So
Yeah,
if you're not familiar with Brothers Murph, definitely go check them out on YouTube. And I'm gonna send the link.
They
their
used to do a
Kickstarter.
ton of stuff with the Dice Tower back in the day, but they used to do Twitch like crazy all the time.
Yeah,
But they're
big on Twitch. But I
They
think,
collaborate
like
with a bunch of different people. They were on This Game Is Broken for the longest time. Does This Game Is Broken still go on? I'm not sure.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
active, yeah.
still
They
going. Yeah.
mostly
Yeah, they won the Golden Geek last year.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the cool things is like they just add that humor, like Kent was talking about. Like their stuff is normally pretty funny and normally really fun, and they're just super cool dudes.
Yeah, they're,
So-
they're just super
They're
nice
sweet guys,
people,
yeah.
and just they're fun to hang out with, fun to watch. Do a great job with board game content, and I got the Brothers Murph shirt on too, by the way.
No,
Uh,
hey.
I was
But
saying
anyway, go check them out if you don't know Brothers Murph. Go give them your support on Kickstarter.
we were playing a game of Last Light with Nick Murphy, and that was the one game where I had to like tell Ruthie like, no, stop, stop! You're gonna kill everyone. Calm down. I had to rein her in because she was wrecking. She's like, I'm gonna win. I'm like, let the Wookiee win. But no, it was fun. But yeah, so awesome. The next one here is a crazy awesome piece of news. I'm excited to see how this actually turns out. This is how do you say this? Vantage?
Vantage, yeah.
Vantage is a new game from Jamie Stegmaier, and he said this is like his love letter to Breath of the Wild, but this is a sci-fi game with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cards for you to explore as you play the game.
Yeah.
How many did he say? Like 800 cards or something
I
like
think
that?
he said, I was looking at the forums of BGG, it was hard to tell exactly. He said about 1,300 cards, up to
Holy
1,800
smokes.
cards, depending on if you're counting the double-sided version of certain cards. But you are each, so it's not a campaign game, but you all are working cooperatively. You're sent to this planet, and you're all separate, so completely separated by a lot of like big distances. And you're viewing the game through a first-person perspective, and I'm not sure exactly what that
Interesting.
means
Oh, that
exactly.
that gives me like a like Time Stories vibe if it's gonna have like panoramas or
maybe.
anything like that.
So you're
that'd
going
be
to have to
cool.
communicate with people, but you're not going to be able to be
That's
directly
very
communicated.
Time Stories. Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. And what's interesting about this game is a lot of times Jamie's games he announces and then puts a pre-order out and then they're here. Looks like this one, based on his email newsletters, it looks like it's coming out in 2025. So he's teasing this one a little bit earlier than a lot of his other games. Maybe just
Yeah,
because
they
of the
need time to
scale
print
of
all
this
of
game.
those cards.
Yeah, I don't know. This seems like
Well-
a pretty ambitious project.
He's been working on it for a long time.
Yeah, I
think.
remember him talking about a Breath of the Wild inspired game years ago. So
That's cool. It seems very, I guess, since it's sci-fi and on the planet, on planets and stuff like that, that it seems like No Man's Sky-ish, you know, almost.
yeah, possibly.
As you're like exploring different planets and things like that, or whatever, you know.
And the
I'm
no
s-
campaign thing is a really big plus for me.
I'm excited because if this is like decently story driven or whatever, like most of his games are pretty strongly Euro. I'm sure this is going to
Yeah.
still be Euro in a lot of ways, just because
Yeah.
that's his style. But yeah, like it'll be cool to
Wonder
see
if
another
it's-
Jamie design.
Or it's going to be more like a kind of like a Ryan Lockett
I would
story
love that.
sort of situation where
That'd be
it's like
huge.
story driven, but definitely has Euro foundations. So
I would love that.
I'm
That'd be
definitely
awesome.
curious to see what he does with this.
That's the dream collab, isn't it? Ryan Lockett and Jamie Stegmaier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Predicting the
No.
future.
So there's really not a whole lot of other information about it besides that it says 1 to 6 players, 60 to 120 minutes. But wait and see. I guess wait and see when we hear more.
So this next one I am ecstatic about. This is The Mandalorian Adventures, Star Wars Mandalorian Adventures from Corey Konezka and Unexpected Games.
Yeah, as soon as I saw this announced, I was like, Roy's gonna be all over this.
I was stoked. It really looks like Jaws of the Lion Mandalorian, basically. But apparently there's some like maybe trader mechanics and stuff like that as well. But it looks like an old school Corey Konezka Star Wars game. And I literally tweeted at Corey, I was like, dude, like you're going back to your roots with an old school like Fantasy Flight style game or whatever. That's totally unexpected. So you're still living up to your name, because I was expecting you to come out with a wacky game, but no, this is like a Star Wars game, you know. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, Corey Konezka is still one of my favorite designers ever. I mean, and he knows Star Wars. You know, he did Imperial Assault, he did Destinies, he did Star Wars Rebellion, he did Outer Rim. He's done so many of these different Star Wars games, so it's gonna be cool to see him do that with Mandalorian. And it's mostly a cooperative game is what it seems like, except there's a couple scenarios where there could be traitors in it as well. And he knows how to do traitors really well because he did Battlestar Galactica. So I'm excited to see how this comes out, because I've enjoyed a lot of the Unexpected games, but a lot of them have been like weird, interesting ideas. Like the Initiative was kind of cool with all the Cypher stuff. And then I played 3,000 Scoundrels. It was cool with the clear cards and stuff like that, but they seem more like a cool idea as opposed to like a really solid game. So I'm
Right.
excited to see how this one actually like goes, coming back to like something that seems super solid, especially since it, like, just looking at it, it's got the whole storybook thing where you're going through running around on that. So that's kind of cool.
But just even having a Mandalorian theme game is great too. I mean, I know
Yeah.
For sure.
a lot of people are would love that, and then just having him do it is even better.
For me, if it just had like Outer Rim vibes, because Outer Rim is fun.
I love Outer Rim. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, like I think Outer Rim's such a chill game to play too, because you can kind of just like go have an adventure as
Yeah.
the characters. Which
It
is
looks
so cool.
closer to something like Imperial Assault from like the actual pictures of it, like standees running around on a board. It looks like you're looking at like Star Wars Mandalorian almost, or Star Wars. No, it is Mandalorian.
Like
Star Wars
Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven-ish style thing.
Is it a
So-
book?
Mhm.
You said Jaws of the Lion, or
Yeah.
did you just say Gloomhaven earlier?
It is a book like Jaws of the Lion, yeah.
Okay.
So you're
I'd
flipping
actually be down
through,
for
and there's
that.
a bunch of cards and things like that that go onto different slots in the book and things like that. So it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, give me that. Give me a game like that. One of the things I like about standees is also like you can put it in one box, and I know
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
sacrilegious, and I'm not supposed to say it, but like sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't want to take up. I mean, there's too many big games. and there's not enough shelf.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer miniatures or whatever, but so many of
no.
those Fantasy Flight style games or whatever had those standees, all the Arkham Horror stuff and everything. So, but
Yeah.
it's all
Keeps
good.
the price point down too.
I just want a little Grogu mini. Is that wrong?
Maybe there'll be 2 editions or like a.
You can just
like
get the
upsell.
Grogu and the Mandalorian like Lego figures. Because my kids
Yeah.
I'm about
like,
to say, I'm pretty sure there's tons of miniatures for
those?
those
Yeah,
characters
you
and
can
other
probably find
things.
they love to pop Grogu's head off and then make me upset. Because it makes me upset, so they do it more and more. They're just like, no, you can't kill Grogu.
Aw. Well,
He's so cute.
I guess we can get into the things that we have been playing. The first on the list, we update all these Adam's thing. Is this?
Yeah, I did mine.
Dixit.
Yeah, man. I haven't. This week I played. Actually, today at work I played a bunch of games because I work at Central Michigan University and we have this Center for Games Learning and Simulations. Big plug. And I actually played a bunch of student games today. So I just want to point that out. I didn't really have a great way to talk about them or articulate them because they are projects that students work on to teach history through board games. And it's actually a minor you can get at the institution I work at, and it's really cool. There's a lot of nerds there playing games today, and I had a great time in feudal Japan, pretending to be both a yakuza and a government entity trying to prevent flooding. So just different themes, different games. So big shout out to that. But the only other things I played this week was Dixit with my kids. We were having one of those nights where I was like, oh, we should play a game, because everyone was just chilling in the living room, kind of like not being productive. And I was like, let's play something. Let's play something really casual. And I was actually gonna play Bunchkin for the first time in a long time, and my daughter was like, yeah, I was looking at it on the shelf, and I'm like, we should just play that. It'd just be funny. Just sit here, bust it out.
Well, it is currently on Kickstarter or whatever with the big box.
The big box.
Yeah.
I think if you have the right crowd and you're just looking to kill time, Munchkin's a fine thing to do. It's barely a game. But, again, crowd dependent. But instead of doing that, my daughter demanded some Dixit. And she proceeded to run away with the game somehow, even though she was being entirely uncommittal to any of her clues and was running into the other room to get clues from my wife. So it was like the longest game of Dixit ever, where she's like, I don't know what to do with this one. She just run and then run back in, But I don't know. Dixit's a lot of fun.
So wait, did she win, or did your wife technically win by proxy from the other room?
I think my wife at least shares that victory with her at this point. But her bunny did get across the line. I have the older version, not the one that's in the picture here that I yanked off of Board Game Geek. But it's a great game. If you have never played it, the 30-second explanation is that it is a game with big, giant, beautiful tarot cards, and you come up with abstract clues that people will guess, kind of.
But not everybody will guess.
Not everyone. You just want one or more, but not everyone, and you're just trying to find that kind of perfect fusion and maybe play the players a little bit if you know them. And I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I've played it a lot to the point where every now and then when it's brought up, I'm like, do I really want to play that? But generally, I end up having a good time with it. So
I still like
Dixit.
It's fun.
And you can mix.
You
can mix and match it with Mysterium. So if you have both those games, you can mix the cards up like almost willy nilly.
Man, I've never thought about doing that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, you can do it in both directions too. It actually works solidly.
Yeah, we got the Disney version, but we haven't played it yet.
It's super
the cards
nice.
look so good.
It's really nice.
Yeah, we looked at all the cards and they're just gorgeous. But
Yeah.
we haven't.
Yeah, that whole production on the Disney one is great.
But it's a solid game. It's but it's one of those games where I feel like it really benefits from expansions, or again, like you said, to mix up the cards, because you just new art and that just gives you so many more options for what you want to say, and sometimes some of those cards can always be the same thing, kinda, if you played enough. But yeah, it's a fun one.
Well, at least there's like a million expansions, so you can
exactly.
I think
you
there
don't
is.
need
There's
all of them, but you just get one when you feel like you are bored.
Well, there's like 9, and I think you could mix them. You could probably mix the dang Disney cards in if you wanted to.
Yeah, probably.
And,
for sure.
and then there's that. Remember, they made a game in the universe. I forget what it was called. There was like a little
Stella, yeah.
Stella, but I think the Stella cards were unique, and I think they can transfer across the games too. So, and then you have Mysterium and Mysterium Carnival or Mysterium Park, whatever it's called, the Carnival themed
Mysterium Park.
Yeah, you can literally just be like, oh, we're gonna do a Mysterium version of Dixit.
I would say at the Dice Tower we had these sleeves, like these Dice Tower sleeves, that we sold in our campaign that are Dixit size sleeves or whatever, but they're specifically so you can sleeve all of the games in the same sleeves. So that way you can like mix and match everything together. So that way you don't have to use like all of just your Mysterium. You can be like, oh, I'm gonna do Mysterium mixed in with Dixit, or this game mixed in with that game.
That's actually brilliant.
I think when you dream, it was a really cool idea that we came up with, but like not a whole lot of people like got them. But in the Dice Tower library we have just this gigantic box just slap full of like all the Dixit game cards. So it's pretty cool.
And the game Muse works with that too. Same size cards.
Oh, I don't think I've ever played that.
That's a good one.
It's similar. It's similar to Dixit style. It's pretty fun if you like Dixit style. There's 2 different versions of it, at least.
Also, Detective Club, which might be my favorite out of those. Detective Club's amazing.
That's a good one too.
All right. I guess we can get to some of Rob's picks. Did you get trounced in Lorcana again, Rob?
I'm not getting trounced, but she's definitely getting better. We've just been playing a lot of Lorcana, and now that she has some of the new cards that we ordered, like the Piglet is kind of a beast, and I do my best to kill Piglet and Baloo off as soon as possible because she throws Baloo out there because Baloo's a bodyguard. But then you get 2 points if you kill Baloo, and so she's an adorable little punk. And but the last couple times I won, but they're all nail biters. Like the games are ending like 18, 19 to 20. Like they're all very close. It's basically whoever went first won type of a thing. So, but she's a lot of fun. We're loving playing, and she's loving the cards. But she's also a little bit like me. Like once we're set on our deck, like we're happy with it. So like we have all these other cards, and she's like, no, I really love my dwarves, and I love my Snow White, and she loves the complementary cards of like the Piglet and Baloo. But I don't know if she'll ever change. And honestly, I don't think she should. I really like the 7 dwarves. I know there's other cards that can do things, but like when you get those Snow Whites out there, like there was this one turn where she put out like 4 or 5. She put out 4 cards and it cost her like 2 lore. I was like, how did you do this, child? You know, she was just like, well, I have these cards and then this and then this and then boom, boom. Man, it was absolutely amazing.
Somebody played a Be Prepared and just wiped it all out.
They're not playing with that.
How much does Be Prepared hit for?
It banishes all characters.
All characters. Yeah.
Everything.
She's got so many characters, like she'll be fine.
How much does it cost to play that card?
7.
Okay, gotcha.
Or you can sing it.
Dag, what a 7. Oh, what can it be
Sing it
singed
for
at?
how much?
Sung on.
You can sing it with a 7 cost or lower. Or 7 cost or higher, I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's still
think-
takes
How much
7.
does it
Ken's
normally
ready to
cost
play
without
against
being
her,
sung?
Is what?
Can't
How much
really
does
play
it cost
against her.
without being sung? Like 8?
7. Cost 7.
It just costs 7, period.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, she probably would win by round 7. That's her goal. She has made an aggro deck without realizing she's made an aggro deck. Like that's her only thing is I try to tell her like, look, baby, you could have beat me if you would have killed my characters. But she's all about no, I'll let you do this. I'm just gonna get lore. Lore. And so it's a lot of fun. We still play, and she'll look at me. Hey, Dad, you think after school today we can play some more Lorcana? Absolutely. And so we're just playing, and she's loving it. So this is actually an old picture I couldn't find. A recent picture because we're not taking pictures anymore together because now we're like really getting into it. So like screw you, even though because now
No
she's
more
like,
smiles.
yeah.
There'll be no joy here,
There
child.
won't be. No, and
And
then
then-
I have a decent deck, but it's like it's a cheap anti-Briley deck, so it's like
There you go.
it's not even like super great. But I have this cool thing that I'm doing. I'm doing all evil characters. The only evil character. Ooh, that's Matt's guy. Yeah, outside of playing Lorcana, I've been painting minis. Like within these last 3 weeks
trying to figure out how
or
to
2.5
fill
weeks, I've probably painted close to 150 minis now.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's Matt's guy. I'm so excited for our next session and what I'm going to do to all of them. It is going to be really, really cool.
He keeps texting stuff. It's always either minis or like cryptic, just.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is gonna be fun.
But I am excited, and yeah, I will text like little cryptic messages. And when we get to the week of, then I'll start to do like today's clue. Like I'll do a countdown of clues, and that's maybe half of the minis that I painted that you
That's
see.
crazy.
Yeah, I painted some. Like you could see, like I painted some doors and I painted some tables and stuff like that. Well, what's really cool is I backed the Kickstarter. Well, not just the Kickstarter, Battle Systems. They're that like really thick cardboard where they have the houses and the castles and everything. So like my board presence looks amazing, but all of my accessories are unpainted. So I was like, man, screw this. At our next session, I want to have every single thing, not everything painted because I still have like hundreds of minis to paint. But I was like, I want everything on the board to be painted. And so
That's awesome.
then I just got into like this little run of like paint this and paint this and paint this, and now I'm about to start painting dragons. Like I was asking them, like, hey, what color dragons do you guys want? Oh, and I will share this. At our last session, Matt and Nick's character, they were outside and they heard a dragon fly by, and I turned my head to go talk to like Sammy and Marlo and all them that were in the shop. When I came back, they had placed their figurines underneath the porch of one of the houses because they were scared of the dragon. I was like, yes, this is amazing. I was like, where'd you guys go? They're like, oh, we're right underneath here. You see this little porch? Yeah, we're hiding under the porch.
Wedged our figures underneath the little...
Yeah, because both of them rolled for perception. One of them heard like a wind. The other one heard like that it was a dragon. And so he's like, nope, I'm going. So I'm very excited for our next session. It's going to be a lot of fun. Painting a lot of minis. I'm not the greatest painter, but it's fun. And it just...
That's cool.
To me, it helps with board presence. So Lorcana and painting. Here's the other thing. I don't know if you've done this, Roy, but because I've been painting so much, my kids have been wanting to paint with me.
Oh, nice.
And so my daughter, Emerson, I love her so much. I let her paint what she wants to paint, but then I have to like go back and paint over some of the stuff. Like we have like a 17 colored mermaid, and it was just like, just like little strokes of like green here and like, this was this there, and it's like, baby girl, I love it so much. Do you mind if Daddy just touches it up a little bit? Yeah, go ahead, touch it up. And then I'll take some of the colors that she has, and so I'll put it on there. I'll like remove all the other stuff, and she's like, whoa, I really like that. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I really like that. I like what you did with the blue and the green. I'm like, yeah, thank you, baby. Thank you. It's
That's why I
You're like,
stopped
you're the
painting it,
genius. I'm
because
just
every time I would
following
go over
following your lead here.
Every time I would
well,
try
yeah,
to pick
because
up
like, yeah, the
my
kids want to
kids
get
would come over
involved.
and wanna paint too,
That's
and I was
awesome,
like, nope.
though.
At one point, all four of us were painting. But see, like, I'll give the
That's
girls, like, there's some huts that aren't pictured. Emmy painted a hut that's got silver. It's an orc hut made out of leather, but it has silver windows, and it's got other stuff. So I'll give them stuff that I don't mind, like repainting and things like that. But Marlo's painted a couple miniatures. Because I've got my team. I'm like, look, girls, we have our next session May 18th. I need this stuff painted. Let's go.
Rob's running a sweatshop in his basement.
I really sort of am. You're
You're like,
playing
"Hi,
video games.
children."
It's like, hey, are you guys playing like Democracy or Call of Duty? Bro, I'm painting, man. What are you doing? Just leave me
He's
alone.
spraying with a hose when they're, hey, we'll turn the temperature up when we get a few more units out here, guys.
Right?
I love it.
Anyway, Lorcana and painting. That's been me the last couple weeks.
So I haven't played too many good games or anything too crazy. I've just been doing a lot of like playtesting prototypes for the most part. So I'm like, I can't talk about that stuff. But I did play this game Portals, which has an amazing looking cover. It looks really cool. It looks like thematic and evocative. And like, look at those cool like purple and teals. It's a game with just like abstract like little Mintos. I guess they're going for the most part, they're going for Azul type territory, but this is a game where you have these different pattern boards in between each player, and you're going to be drafting these little Mintos tokens, and you're going to be getting cards that you're going to be distributing those tokens, like the different spells or whatever, onto the different boards. So you're collecting them off the portals each turn. You're going to get, it's almost like, it feels like you're about to play like an in-between, like one of those in between, what are those games called? The games that have the stuff in between the two players that you score off of. It's kind of like that, but you're not like building
two cities and stuff?
between two cities, but you're not actually, you're just kind of competing over those two areas with the other players. You're not really scoring that together or anything like that. But it's an extremely abstract game. It was fine overall. I did like the components, but yeah, it was just like if you are able to put down 4 and the colors that you put on it match, then you're able to get 6 points. If you put down 3, you get 4 points. If you put down 2, you get 2 points. If you put down 1, you only get 1 point. And if you also match the different colors beside the other colors, you can get extra points there as well. And there's also modules you can play with different spells that allow you to kind of like mix up and move around the different tokens. From what that cover was, like how awesome that looks compared to like how the actual gameplay was, I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's just literally super abstract. But yeah, that's mostly the game. I played it yesterday, so I'm like, I'll just throw this on here as a game that I have played. I don't know that I would super recommend the game overall, but if you're really into like pattern building, and it did feel very tactile with the little Mentos pieces. We have Azul, which is Starburst, and now Portals, which is Mentos. What other candies would make good board game components?
You got
Oh,
the
I guess,
chocolate eggs and Wingspan.
yeah, the eggs and Wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Sweet Tarts is next. That's what we need.
Sweet Tarts.
Mm.
Yeah,
Gummy
I was saying
bears.
I want to play Bunny Kingdom with just straight up Peeps. You need like a
You
super
could
giant.
actually do that.
You would need a gigantic
You need a
board
huge
though.
board because that board gets crowded. quick.
So many bunnies.
Yeah.
That's it.
Also, if you ate all those Peeps, you would go into a diabetic shock real
Yeah,
quick.
you'd be in
I don't think I
trouble.
could eat more than 4 Peeps at this age. Like, you know what I mean? Do you guys think you could eat more than 4 Peeps?
I know.
Oh yeah.
I
definitely.
I
know
don't
for a
even think I could eat
fact
Yeah,
that I could eat
not-
more than
not
4
at all.
Peeps.
I could eat 4 than 4.
Once I crack a pack of Peeps, it's hard for me to finish the whole thing, which is a terrible thing to say and a terrible thing to do. And that's why, sometimes I go fasting and go on keto because sometimes the sugar's too good.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't think I could do a whole pack of Peeps anymore.
I mean, I shouldn't.
I wish I could.
There's
I
no,
mean, I'm not-
there's
I'm
no
not
good
saying I
reason.
couldn't do it and regret it. I would just feel sick. That kind of stuff just ruins me anymore. It sucks.
Old man Adam.
I know. I'm horrifying. I'm a cautionary tale.
Well, the next thing here is Kent's games here. It looks like there's some Lorcana
So
going on
we
this
got-
picture as well.
Yeah, more Lorcana going on here. So I haven't played really any board games in the last few weeks. Lorcana just had their set championships, which is the first time Ravensburger's done this, where they game stores apply to be a set champion store, and then they get sent promo enchanted Stitch cards and special Stitch playmats for the tournament. And then stores all over the country ran different tournaments, and actually all over the world ran tournaments for these to win these promo cards and playmats. So I was able to participate in 2 different ones over the weekend.
Nice.
They've been going on for like the last 2 weeks, but locally, those were the ones I could fit in my schedule, and I didn't want to drive super far. So the first one I went to was on a Saturday. I was able to get second place in that one, which is amazing. And so I got my Stitch playmat and my promo. And it was really cool to see kind of like that more competitive constructed scene for Lorcana. There was a lot of tough competition out there, from what I've heard from talking to other people around going to these events. And I ran into some really interesting people at these events too. So at the first event, there was this individual there who is a streamer who runs these giant Lorcana tournaments online.
Oh, nice.
So they are like one of the people that host. I mean, they started creating these huge tournaments using a digital platform so people could play and have these massive tournaments. So like we're talking for Lorcana, they're saying like maybe 250 to 300 people player tournaments that they would
wow.
set up, and they've done maybe 5 or 6 of them at this point. So they're really followed by the competitive community because it's a good way to kind of see where the meta is and what's, what to play and what to expect when you're going to a tournament. So anyway, I ran into this individual. They're from South Africa, and they were in North Carolina, which is so random.
That's
So
cool.
anyway, the streamer's name is Taya Beastie. And so I ended up playing her in one of the matches, and it was just kind of cool to meet them and kind of talk to them about the whole tournament scene and kind of what their
But
what
did you
got him into
crush?
Lorcana
Did you
and all
crush?
I did win.
Ah,
But
so they have to give you their Twitch channel right now. That's how that works.
Well, I was already following them on Twitch, but I was like, I didn't recognize them right offhand because I was like,
Too busy
they
beating
wouldn't
them.
be
Okay,
in North
gotcha.
Carolina.
Yeah.
It's so random. It's super weird. Anyway, so it was cool to meet them. And then the next day was another tournament, and I ended up playing against them again. But I realized, I didn't know this at the time, but that is Mr. Beast's girlfriend. And Mr. Beast was at the tournament in the second one.
That's why she was here.
That's why she was here. So Mr. Beast
That
lives
makes
in North
sense.
Carolina. So anyway, so the second tournament was cool too. I played her again, and I was able to beat her in that tournament. But she was super nice, cool to talk to. And it was just a fun time to play against everybody. And this second time, I did not make it to the top 8. So the way these tournaments work is when you, if you're able to make it to the top 8, then you go to single elimination. And you're in the running essentially for a playmat and a enchanted card. So I was one win away from getting into the top 8, which was unfortunate. I think I just had some bad draws and had some unlucky die rolls for going first, because I feel like in Lorcana, as Rob was saying, going first is huge. It's really important to go first, at least if you want to have a slightly higher chance of winning, I would say. But it was a super fun event. I'm looking forward to more tournaments from them. And if you are into Lorcana at all and you want any kind of competitive stuff, I would try to go to some of these. They're probably going to do one for most of the new sets, I would think. So find some set championships to go to for the next time they do these, and you get some cool promos and have a fun time.
That's awesome. I do wonder, are you allowed to own a game store and not have faded posters in the windows? I'm pretty sure that's like a requirement. You have to have sun-faded posters in the windows.
If I'm ever able to open my game store face-to-face games, there will not be faded posters.
You just got to cycle them out.
No.
The sun doesn't.
I would just put like art film over all the windows to protect all the collectibles inside, because you don't want those things sun-faded.
Yeah. I know your product.
I just see it at every single game store.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But that's awesome. I used to play. It's cool, like playing in those tournaments or whatever, and the fact that you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the tournament here, but then I'm gonna go to another one at this thing. There was one year in Redemption where I went to like so many tournaments back to back to back, and one of the guys that I used to play in those tournaments is now playing Lorcana, and he was posting where he had won. Nice. He had won like a set of these things or whatever. Apparently those promos can fetch a bunch of money too. Because
the promo card, the single promo card, is going for about $600-$700 right now.
Yeah, he posted a picture of like straight cash that he got from someone for the promo
and the
card.
playmats are like anywhere between $250 to $350, I would say.
But yeah,
which is crazy. It's insane. So yeah.
So you're basically holding right under $1,000 in your hand.
Yeah, I guess.
God,
but some people I've seen went out and won multiple of these. Like they win multiple.
Yeah, the guy that won, then both the tournaments played, he won first place in both ones.
Yeah, the guy that won.
The one that's in this picture.
He's one of our local guys I play with a lot, and he's just really good at the game. He's really good at a lot of different card games, but he won both tournaments, first place.
Well, you're that guy for our family, because if it's not me, all Brownie says is, "You think I could beat Kent? You think I could beat?"
Let's set it up.
If you ever play her, Kent, don't pull any punches.
No, let's do it live. Let's do an episode. That's all.
I can get a bad draw and lose, and if she lures too fast, sometimes I can lose. It happens. Dude, sure.
He's already got excuses. This is crazy. We're setting it up.
Wait, is the playmat on the line? Is the playmat on the line?
Best of 5. Let's go.
One of these days we'll play.
Yeah. She's so excited.
That's awesome.
I think you should play Emerson first to see if it's even worth her time.
I should.
Emerson doesn't play. She's like, "Hey, Dad, can you teach me how to play?" "Yeah, baby, come on." And then she runs off and goes like outside to play or goes paint or something.
I was at Target and we saw some Lorcana decks or whatever up in North Carolina, and Scotty was like, "Oh, have you played that game?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I have a bunch of it." So I might have to teach Scotty how to play too, because he likes card games a lot.
Yeah.
We've been playing a bunch of Pokemon or whatever, so I try not to like switch him around too much in between the different games, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe over the summer we'll try out Lorcana. So
I feel like they're different enough where you can kind of keep them separated, but
for sure. Well, I have so much Lorcana stuff that like is literally just sitting around, because like all the Dice Towers Lorcana stuff just kind of migrated to me, because I'm like, I'm not gonna just like get rid of it,
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sure some of it's actually worth something. So, but good stuff. But yeah, that is Kent's Adventures in Tournament Gaming. So Courtney is sailing away.
Yeah, so we played Come Sail Away. It's a Sashi and Shashi. Sashi? Okay, now I can't say it. Sashi and Sashi game. It's a pretty simple game. I mean, Kent had it set up on the table. I don't know if you got a picture of it, and then he was like, the thing on the box says 25 minutes. And I was like, there's no way we're playing this game in 25 minutes. But it's a pretty short game. It goes by really fast. Most of it's done simultaneously. But you're basically, the theme of the game is you've got this cruise ship and you're putting little meeples and kind of filling up the cruise ship or filling it up with passengers. And so you on your turn, or you're kind of picking. You have a choice between like two different passenger cards, and they have different color people on them. And then you're like taking those people and you're placing them in the cruise ship, but you have to do it like kind of like in Mancala style, where you got to place them next to each other, adjacent, and you can't circle back or go back to the same room you just placed a meeple in. And so you're just it's like 12 turns, and you're just placing meeples out, trying to fill up those little rooms. Some of the rooms you want the same color in. Some of them you want all different. Sometimes it's paired, like where you want two pairs the same color. If you line things up, you can go up on this other track, this what they call the luggage track, which allows you to like do bonus turns and stuff like that and get extra points. But it's a pretty simple game. Like I said, you're basically putting meeples down at the same time. And so it does play really fast. I thought it was fun. It's pretty simple, but it's a cute little game. Let's come sail away.
I know people love the Sashi games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the art. It's like very simple, but like elegant.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing you can mention is when you cannot place a meeple because you can't legally place it, you place it in this other area where you're going to lose points for them.
Uh-oh.
So it's like kind of you got to be careful with where you're placing, and then as you fill up your rooms, they flip over to score you points. But then those
Once
are no
they flip
longer
over, you can't
place
can't put them
meeples
in,
there.
yeah.
So it's a way, it kind of blocks you off on your options. So you can really mess yourself up if you don't plan well and flip over too many rooms in the wrong spots of your boat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a little twist in there too.
But it's fun.
I love the Little Town vibe. Like it's not what it's called, Little Town, or like little, like the little toys.
Yeah.
Kids
It's
are,
like the Richard Scary kind of.
yeah. Like, which is weird because, like you said, it's like really simple, but like there's something. There's something very appealing.
Like that sort of old school kind of 80s
I
cartoon.
think most of his games look like that. Like Let's Make a
Yeah.
Bus Route and
They
stuff
all have
like
a very
that.
similar
All have
look,
like
yeah.
that same sort of vibe.
It's really
Yeah,
clean
I-
look, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it.
I love the board. I absolutely love this board.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a little cruise ship, if you can tell. It's like
Yeah.
got
All
the
the
front
different
and back of
rooms,
the
got
ship, and you
dining
got the
rooms.
little top with the windows and the little lifeboats up at the top, and yeah, it's
Is there any icebergs in the game?
no,
No.
not this one.
Oh, that's good.
For
But
an
yeah.
expansion.
Well, I guess
that's a
we
good
can go
one.
ahead and get to our topic, which is games to play with your parents.
Did Matt talk about a game?
Oh,
No,
Matt,
'cause
did
I
you
haven't
want to?
played anything.
Matt, did you?
I was hoping we could just.
We were just gonna
Okay.
pretend it didn't
I've
happen.
just been doing live.
You ruined the
I didn't
surprise.
want. Sorry, I didn't want
Okay, no,
to
it's
like.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I appreciate the inclusion.
Matt. Whoops! I just wrecked everything.
You haven't played any video games? Yeah, I was going to talk about Helldivers, but then I was like, we talked about that last week.
We can do a special episode one day.
'Cause that's mostly what I've been playing.
Yeah. Now I'll occasionally get on and play this game called Mechabellum, which is just like a little auto battler basically, but you just buy little mechs and place them. There's upgrades and stuff. It's a good way to kill 30 minutes every once in a while. So I've just been playing it, and that's kind of it.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Anywho.
Our topic is games to play with your parents. And since Adam came up with this topic weeks ago, we're going to have him start.
Yeah, when I came up with this, I wasn't sure where I was going, other than like I'm like, oh man, I always try to get my mom to play new games, and my mom can be trapped by several mechanisms. So in a weird way, this topic was born out of me.
He just wants suggestions for games to play with his parents.
No, my mom's actually pretty open to playing games because she's really competitive. So if there's a chance for her to beat you at something, she's definitely going for it. The game that I picked and put on here, and I do think this is a good game to introduce people to, is On Tour, which is a kind of a big board roll and write game. This could have easily been a game that fits in a box about this big, about as big as a peanut butter sandwich. It's overproduced for what it is, but it makes it a lot of fun because you get to put it down at the table. My mother loves playing Quicks, right, or Roll for America, stuff like that, like those little card-sized box roll and writes, where you just get the little pad of paper, you're just ripping them off every time you play. But this is a game that my mom likes. It scales up really, really easy. You can go online and buy additional boards for it, but basically everyone gets this big map of the US or Europe, I think, is the base game, and there's some other regional ones and stuff. Or we tend to play the US ones. Everyone's familiar with it, and they can do the map in their head, I guess. But it is a roll and write and a flip and write at the same time. But it's super simple game. Again, really nice table presence for what it is, but you just flip over some cards. The cards are going to give you a region of the US that you're going to be able to plan the route for your rock and roll or your jazz band or whatever it might be to travel across the country, and you're trying to make an efficient route. You roll 2 dice, and the dice are going to come up, and they're either going to be like 31 and 13 or 54 and 45 or something like that, and then you're going to get to pick from one of those 3 regions that you flipped up, and you can see they're kind of color-coded on the map if you're watching. And you get to write those numbers in there, and you're trying to fill the whole map up, basically, but at the end... and if you roll doubles, you get a little wild card. You get to draw a star instead of a number in one of your cities, and you're trying to just draw a line that connects all the way across and see who effectively has the most efficient, longest line based on how they're assigning those numbers. It's very traditional roll and write mechanics in terms of like filling out the regions and stuff like that, but it's a very accessible game. And my mom likes to play it because she likes roll and writes. So I don't know. I thought it would be a good suggestion for other folks if you're trying to get your parents to get in there. Try to get the maybe the parents that aren't super big gamers. It's very accessible, but it feels like you're playing a bigger game because it is a little bit overproduced for what it needs to be. Oh, and it's all dry erase, I should mention. So the boards are nice, big dry erase boards. It's nice, chunky dice. It's huge cards that you flip over for the region cards. The art is all very nice, so it's nice to appreciate it while you play it.
Nice.
There's not a bunch of crap to read, so my mom's not doing this with the cards.
You guys mentioned how hard it is to plan an efficient route when you have to make your numbers go up in or down sequentially.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. When you
Which
you're
makes it
planning
so
the route
difficult.
for it to be sequential. Yeah, you can go either east to west or west to east to try to create this really long route, but man, like it can get, if the dice rolls aren't good, you're just getting some stuff. You're like, what am I going to do with this many, like 1 and something? Like you'll get like 4, like you'll be halfway through the game or 2/3 way through the game, and you'll get like 4 things that are like teens, and you go, oh, I got to deal with all the teens and the ones, and yeah,
It's tricky.
it's one of the better board game table games. In terms of all the very nicely packaged games they have, there are 2 that really stand out to me, and this is number 2.
Well, we also have Matt's game.
Yeah. So if your mom's anything like mine, she spent a great deal of time playing games like Rook and Canasta. Just kind of all the time when you were younger. And so I never really played much Rook or Canasta. I played a little bit, when I got older, but
So good.
Didn't have the appeal for me. But a similar card game, Scout and Trio, are both sort of trick-taking games that are really kind of fun, easy, simple, and especially. I don't think my mom has played any sort of trick-taking games in 10, 20 years now. It's been a hot minute, I think, since she's played these. So this would be something I feel like would be a really good way to reintroduce sort of something that she enjoyed in the past, in a pretty simple and quick form factor.
Well, do you think Trio's a bit more of like a deduction-y style?
Yeah.
Or like memory almost? I don't know. Trio's a weird game to describe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, it is you trying to make sets and guess where other people's sets are.
Right.
Sort
it's like
of Go Fish,
but also like higher or lower. Yeah, it's kind of Go Fish, but with like memory, but also like deduction as well. Like, what if they said this? Then what does that mean? If they're looking for this, then what does that mean?
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
But see, that's part of the reason why I included it. It's because I
think
just
it's a good
remember
one.
so many nights of like them playing canasta where it was like my parents and then my family friends' parents, and it was just they'd always play in teams and they're just sitting there staring at each other intensely, like. It's just, there's all
That's
this
hilarious.
like subtle communication stuff that's going on. And I'm like, I think that was probably something that they enjoyed back then that maybe they
Make
would
them play the mind.
I should have included that. That would have been. I feel like that would be a good way to start fights. It's like, come on, 68 is not a low number. I don't know. Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's
Or play the Rob way.
That's the Rob impression everyone's got.
I love it when he's got a high card and just puts his hands down on the table.
The higher the pitch voice, the lower the number. The deeper the pitch voice, the higher the number.
It's like playing on a scale of 1 to T-Rex. You guys ever play that? It's like what is it? It's big potato games. And you describe something and your tone. People have to guess whether it's like from 1 to T-Rex. Like how big is it? Like how
I like that.
Rob, you'd love this game. Oh my gosh, we have to do
Add
this.
it to my Amazon list.
It's probably like $15 too. It's not complicated. You love it.
I think that's my favorite part about this podcast is when we talk about games and then all of a sudden you just see this just pops up and everybody's just like, well, let's add this to the wish list.
Nice. All right. Rob's game.
Well, Rob has got a very similar story to Matt's family, but my family will not play anything other than card games.
Gotcha.
And so that's why we have Sequence. I can get them to play Sequence. They love Sequence. I love Sequence. But yeah, I grew up playing Canasta and playing Rummy, and playing 500 Rummy and all that kind of stuff. And the idea of bringing a board game, like the only board game I've ever played with my mom that was longer than 10 minutes was Monopoly, and it's because her grandchildren were playing, and we quit 1 minute after the 10-minute mark. So, yeah, it's not going to happen. But yeah, if it's cards, she'll play. And so, Sequence, like when we I didn't even hesitate. The moment we're like, hey, here's what we're talking about this week. Boom, Sequence. I didn't have to think. And my in-laws, they love it too. In fact, when we went to, and even my brother and sister-in-law, when we went to the mountains like last month or spring break or whatever, we played that game just over and over all night. Everyone loves Sequence, so it's a non-threatening game. But I also love, Matt, that your family has played Rook. It makes me want to play Rook with you, bro, because I still play Rook with my in-laws.
And I need a huge rules refresher.
We throw down with Rook, but we also don't play. Hey, get a load of this. We don't play the normal way.
Oh yeah, shocker.
Of course.
Really? Shocker, yeah.
Well, we don't play with the 2, 3, and 4 cards. That's really it. Like we'll play like with the 1 through 14, but we don't play with the 2, 3, and 4 cards. So that's really it. It makes the game a little bit shorter. That's it. So, but anyway, Sequence. It's a great game, and you know what? At my church board game group, I've gotten more people to fall in love and like Sequence than just about any other game
Wow.
than I've gotten. Well, I'll take that back. Just one this semester has been a huge hit. But
It's so
Sequence,
good.
man, if you go to bed and you wake up and your body hurts or you sneeze and you can hurt something, Sequence is a game for you. If your injuries is because you got a crook in your neck because your pillow, Sequence is the game for you. Right? Like if you are starting to get subscriptions from AARP, Sequence is.
Sequence game. Is Marlo really good at Sequence?
I hate her because she kills me every time.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it.
I feel like this is the game where you don't like. I was going to tell Matt, don't go play Rook over there. Marlo's just going to take your money and your pride and your dignity and probably your shoes.
And
Like,
Sequence too. The last 5 times we played Sequence together, she won 4 of the 5.
That I believe.
Wow.
And
card
there's no
shark.
skill. All you do is draw these cards and you put down a card. Like
Doesn't
don't
matter.
like that's the thing. Is she'll be like, "Oh, babe, I won again." Shut up, woman. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing.
Kenny Rogers and the Gambler. You don't want anything with Jeff cards in front. I'm telling you.
But
When I was snowed in with Rob, I saw some things I'll never unsee. She's a
Never.
wizard, and she can't be trusted with cards.
she's good at it.
She really.
Yeah, she's a little card shark. And Briley, I'm starting to teach her with the Smack Talk too. So anyway, Sequence. Yeah. If you have children and your body hurts now, Sequence is a game for you.
There you go. Well, my parents play almost everything, especially my dad, because he's just all over the place with all the games. But the game I picked is way simpler than that, because I just feel like it is way more accessible. And I picked Project L just because there's like it has that Tetris feel, and it's like Tetris mixed with oh my goodness, my mind went blank. Tetris mixed with what's the game with the gems that they have Pokemon versions of? Splendor. Oh my goodness. What's wrong with me? So Tetris Splendor is basically what the game is, but you're collecting more and more of these Tetris pieces as the game goes along. And you're just able to fill out these different cards. It's just so satisfying. It's such a tactile game. And once a certain number, or once all of the little black tiles that are harder to score are like run out, you in the game. And it's just so fun, like building up your like collection of all the Tetris pieces and doing those like master strokes to be able to put them all out at the same time. It's just a lot of fun, and you can upgrade your little pieces as you go along. If you have the expansion, they have these ghost pieces that have even more awkward shapes to them. Project L is a lot of fun, and a game that I think is basically super easy for almost anybody to play.
It's a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't played this yet, but I've almost bought it like 7 times. It's like it is talking about my Amazon wish list. It's been sitting in there.
Project L.
Which I forget if it was Kent or Courtney or you, Rob. One of you guys first got it. Like,
You got to get it. You got to get
It's
it.
good. It's worth it.
And you love
it's so
tiling,
worth it.
so it's
The
kinda
components
love
are
tiling.
gorgeous.
yeah.
The components are top notch. It's such a fun and non-threatening game. I play with Briley, Emerson, and Marla. We'll all play.
Yeah.
We get cutthroat with it. You can play with the whole family, and you play fast. Like we play a game in like under 20 minutes. I could teach new people and play a whole game in under 25, 30 minutes easily.
It's just so simple. You just
it's
collect
so
Tetris
simple,
pieces and
But
put them in
it's
the little
also
slots.
so satisfying because you have those thick tiles, and then you have like the ceramic pieces that are all thick. Like it's such a beautifully crafted game. Like to me, it's probably if not top 15, top 10 game of all time.
Oh,
wow.
Just on how much I love
wow.
this game.
Wow.
Like it's so much fun. I play it so much with my family. Like it's just absolutely
That's
amazing.
cool, because didn't you get the
Anytime we
suggestion
travel,
from me
we
and
always have
Ruthie
to
or
bring
whatever?
Project L.
Didn't you get the suggestion from me and Ruthie playing this or whatever as well?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
and I
you know
mean,
what?
And we
Actually-
probably played like 50 to 100 times since then.
that's
I think
amazing.
it was Ruthie. That was who it was actually who first I was like, oh, because she had it as what did I play a few months
Right,
back?
we played it at the retreat, and it's funny because this was a game that we played multiple times at the Dice Art retreat. This was actually a couple years ago, and like I had this on like the list to talk about in the podcast for a while, and we didn't actually talk about it. And like eventually, I was like, oh, we should just put Project L on it. And then after we did, then Rob ended up getting it and playing it sometimes. It's kind of cool. So
Oh, man.
Well,
Yeah, that's
speaking
definitely
of Project L.
on my
Did
short
anybody back Square One? Their
I
next game?
saw that, and I really don't know how I feel about it. It's basically Project L, but with just 1x1 tiles. That's all it is, and you're trying to match colors. I really
Yeah, I
don't
don't-
know how I feel.
Yeah,
I had to
didn't
play
look
it to
this-
know, you know.
It didn't look the same to me. Like, yeah, it's more mathy, which that doesn't bother me. But like, you'll have certain tiles that have certain designs, and then you can break down for other tiles, or you can either jumble together. It doesn't have the Tetris-y feel as Project L.
Right,
You know,
yeah, I'm so confused. I would have to play to make a judgment, but I have no clue. It just doesn't give me the same, like, feeling. Just even looking at the pictures, I'm just like, what? Why would they do that?
Yeah, right.
Like, the worst piece in this game is the little 1x1, because it doesn't fill in anything. Why is the entire game the little 1x1s?
And their Kickstarter literally just ended today too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No?
But it's all right. But I like the whole idea of trying to fit all the pieces together.
I agree.
In all those turns and stuff like that. So I'm happy with Project L. And I had some amazing, beautiful, gorgeous friends hook me up with some more Project L stuff. So I'm elated. I love it. Love
Nice.
Project L. Great pick. I
Kent
wish I
has
could get
a
my mom
cool-
to play, but my mom won't play Project L, so we play Sequence.
Sequence.
When you're really old and you don't like all those colorful things because you can't really read the cards, what do? You play Sequence. Like the new Jeff Foxworthy thing. Like, how can you tell if you're an old person? You play Sequence.
Kent has a bunch of games. So many games.
He's got
Yeah,
cool-
so kind of like what you all have all said somewhat.
Are these all trick takers?
Yeah, I can play pretty much any family weight game with my parents. It's just a matter of how long it takes to teach it and how long it takes to actually get it played. Because sometimes getting the rules through is a challenge. But they're good sports, and they'll play almost any game I put in front of them. But I think really what it comes down to is what they like to play is the card games. They like trick takers especially. So there's just some examples. I'm not saying these in particular are the ones. But we've had a lot of success with different trick taking games playing with those with them. Just the rules are a lot easier a lot of the time compared to other bigger board games and stuff. And then these are the games that they'll actually go out and buy. Like, so that's one way to know, like, what my dad will just go and buy certain games. Like he'll like play a bunch of games, but then the ones he actually buys are the ones that I think obviously were the ones that made a big impact on him. And a lot of these are kind of the ones that he would do that with. And so they're just pretty easy, but they're kind of fun. And there's so many different twists on modern trick taking games nowadays, compared to like, some of the more
Spades or
traditional,
hearts, yeah.
hearts and spades. And, like just being able to play co-op or playing, the social deduction trick taking, or
Yeah, I love- Inside
there's all
Job's
sorts of
fun.
weird things going on with these trick takers. They kind of add a nice twist to them and makes them still pretty fun for anybody, not even pretty heavy gamers, but you can definitely appeal to those who are more like who like games but aren't really big into the hobby. So basically any trick taker is what I would try with my parents if I had to pick.
Nice.
I've heard so many good things about the crew, but still have not played it.
You haven't played the crew,
It's
Matt?
good.
No,
I feel like you'd like it.
It's on my shelf of shame. I actually have it. And
I actually dislike
different.
trick taking games. Like the games that are just like, oh, put out the number and follow suit. I like, they're boring to me. But the crew is fun because it's cooperative, and you're trying to figure out how to get the correct person to play the specific card they need to play. So it adds this whole element of like working together, and you're allowed to give each other a teeny bit of information about what you have in your hand, and like trying to figure out how to make that work without failing the mission is a lot of fun.
But be careful to play with people your level, because otherwise they're going to be like, you are dumb. You're ruining the mission for us.
Well, it's a new wrench in the thing. Sometimes when you go to space, not everybody's smart.
Do you like Inside Job, Roy? I mean, I feel like that's
Have you
I,
played
li-
Inside Job?
I really liked
Yeah.
Inside Job a lot. Yeah, I played it when
Yeah.
it like first came out, and it's basically feels like the crew with like a trader almost.
Yeah,
You're trying
it's a really
to pass
fun
these
twist on a trick taker.
different missions to different people and trying to complete different missions, but there's someone who's literally allowed to break the rules of the game.
Yeah.
But if they get found out, then they lose. So
But the
and
cool
there's
part about that is if you're good at trick taking, you can identify that fairly easily. I mean, not totally, but you can kind of keep tabs on what people are doing
it's
and
fun.
spot inconsistencies.
But as far
which
as like
is kinda
any like regular trick taking games,
so like
I-
Skull King. You don't like Skull
no,
King.
I don't like any like I don't know. Every trick taking game I've played where it's just like
score sheet on it with all the negative points.
I don't know. Sometimes I just think you just get bad hands and like you're just done, and you just have to play a bunch of rounds and hopefully get good hands. I don't
You
know,
do,
it's just-
yeah, you can't. But I think some of these have enough extra stuff going on in them to make it so it mitigates some of that. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Sometimes
They're
you
they're
can
really
get
they're really
focused.
they're really just games for people to play like a casual thing and like not care, and throw out cards and follow suit. And I'd rather play Love Letter honestly than most of those, So, but That's
You want to play Jabba's Love Letter though.
Jabba's Love Letter is awesome. Yeah.
That's a great
That's a good
game.
one.
Yeah. All right, Courtney's game.
So, I mean, my parents will play just about anything too. I mean, they're really into card games too, I guess, like everybody else is. But they're pretty good sports too about playing anything as long as Kent's a good teacher. But I just wanted to talk about Charterstone, just because this was kind of a unique experience that Kent and I had with my parents. So, about 5 years ago, we went. My parents invited us to go to Hawaii with them for like a week. And so we were Kent and I were really into board games at this point. So we were like, oh, what game should we bring, right? And so we ended up bringing just Charterstone. And so Charterstone's a legacy campaign style worker placement game. It's not cooperative or anything. So we ended up taking that and we played through the whole legacy game. So like every day we would like go out and do stuff in Hawaii, and then after dinner at night we'd come back and we'd play like a game or two of Charterstone. And so it was just a really cool experience, and I mean, it made me really like the game for that reason. We haven't obviously played it since, but we were able to complete it, and so we had a lot of really good time with my parents doing that, and it was just kind of something fun to do at the end of the day and just relax and play a game. So it was just
Honestly,
a cool
that
experience.
sounds like an incredible vacation and a great.
It was great. It was awesome. And like I said, but it was an awesome experience. But yeah, it was fun, and playing Charter that made it so much easier to play a game like this, because I feel like with the legacy style game with like this, it's hard to, usually it just ends up being Kent and I when we play this style game, because we just don't have anybody else that we play that we could commit to finishing a game with them. So that was kind of nice, because it was one of the few games we've been able to play with like more than just the two of us, and know that we'd have time to dedicate to finish it. So that was kind of neat too.
I played Shadows over Camelot with my dad on vacation once, and I kept having to re-explain the rules to him like over and over again. And I'm like, I know you play a lot of games. I'm so confused why I keep having to explain the rules to you over and over again. We got wrecked in the game, and it turned out he was the traitor, and he was just bluffing the whole time. I was like, how do you not understand what you're supposed to do? How did you mess this up? Oh, he was the traitor. Oh, great, cool. Why did I not throw you out? But yeah.
Oh man, drop in, drop out mechanics, Shadows over Camelot, baby.
There you go. The game's crazy.
It is a crazy game. I never finished Charterstone. I had that same problem, according to her. Like I got started and then like couldn't keep the people together to play to resolve it. But I was enjoying it. Speaking of games that Jamie designed, I mean, I like a good worker placement game, and it's very cute. But it's a little bit. It's kind of escaped me a tiny bit up here.
Yeah, no, I liked it.
Yeah, it was simple, and it was fun. It didn't, if you're going for like really heavy story and stuff, it's not really probably the best one for that. But it was a solid game, and it had some cool little things added into it, and we had a great time with it.
We should normalize like vacation legacy games where it's just like you just take a week off of work with people to finish the entire game.
Honestly, that sounds incredible, because like just like Adam, I was thinking about my experience with Charterstone, where it was like we played I think maybe on 2 separate days, and it was like the first day we played like maybe 3 or 4 rounds, and it was like, all right, cool, yeah, this is great. And then the second time it was just like we just kept losing steam, and then we just never finished it out.
Play 2 games, go out for a meal, come back and play 2 more games, call it a day, play 2 more games. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely no. Honestly, I'm just like, okay, so when we go to cons as a collective group, what legacy games?
We should do it one day.
In the
I say, but right? don't pay for the con, because then you just go to.
That'd be a fun one legacy game one day. Like, can you do it? Can you do one? 10 hours.
Like,
gracious.
Speaking about the Brothers Murph earlier, I think they did Gloomhaven in a week.
Or
something like that. They did all of Gloomhaven in a week.
I think they did the Pandemic Legacies in a day, each of those on stream.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I feel like you could do those ones in a day if you already know the Pandemic system.
Yeah,
really well.
I think they did those
just
in a
like
day.
all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be all dang day. That would be kind of fun though, man. Like I want to there's some legacy games I've just I want to play Risk Legacy. It's like one of the original ones. I know Rob's ears are gonna perk up on that. Like I would love lock me in a room. I want to play Risk all day one day and just do it. Because I know how hard it is to keep groups.
I am
together.
currently working on finding a crew to play Axis and Allies 1914, and while we play, I will be having All Quiet on the Western Front playing in the background, as well as 1917. In fact, I was literally just having a conversation with my dad earlier today about that. So, Matt, if you want to play Axis and Allies 1915, and Adam, if you want to play Risk Legacy, I have played 6 or 7 boards, and I've won half of them.
Let's do it, man. I'm just all right. I'm just coming down for a weekend. That's what we're gonna do.
I was gonna say
Right.
the opera.
Matt doesn't have a new job yet. He can
Lock
come
him
over.
in a room, so all we have to do is just fly to Michigan, kidnap him from his job. We're done.
Done. Yeah.
It
But
may
Matt,
be a
seriously, let
felony,
me
but
know
it's
though if
fine.
you're interested in
I don't
Axis
think
and Allies 1914.
Okay.
Yeah, look at you guys can come stay here. I got my basement's got its own bathroom. It's like 1,000 square feet. No problem. Now, I'm not going to invite Courtney because she knows it snows in July here.
Oh,
That's
nothing.
not true, but that's what she acts like whenever I mention it. She's like, that seems cold.
And y'all are in North Carolina. I'm in Miami. It's definitely cold for down here.
Hey, it's like 72 here today. It's beautiful.
Nice. But yeah, that seems like our whole list. So let us know in the comments or in chat as well if you have any games that you think would work super well with parents. And yeah, so it's always fun to have your families involved, and hopefully you guys can play some different games with your loved ones during the different holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever day
My dad
is coming
plays
up.
games. Like my dad and my stepmom Brenda, they'll play games. So it's not all doom and gloom, but we also play a lot of sequence with them too. But yeah, my mom's it's just that, and if not, we're playing cards.
Clank Legacy is my favorite Legacy game, by the way, for real.
I haven't done that one either.
It's so good. You would love it, Adam. Holy smokes, you would love Clank
Yeah,
Legacy.
it's literally directly up my alley, but
It's like you know, Acquisitions Incorporated D&D with Clank together with all the zany stories, and like, yeah, it's basically like adding in like near and far like storybook elements to Clank, which is just great.
Yeah, I'd probably love it. I think the next thing I'm going to try to tackle that's like is speaking of legendary, I'm going to do the Matrix Legendary.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I bought that and I've never broken it open, so that's kind of my next task. Even though that's not really a legacy game, but I want to play through.
That's
some
an
of the-
encounters game, right?
Yeah, I want to play
Legendary
through some of the different encounters. Yeah.
The legendary encounters ones were always just a little bit more complex, and it's like you have to scan to see where the bad guys are and all that stuff, you know. But that one I've heard has interesting mechanics of like popping in and out of the Matrix or something like that.
Yeah, and I've heard it kind of solves some of the fiddliness of the encounters games. Like it's
cool.
Supposedly the best mechanical one, but I don't know. We'll find out. I'm pretty excited. I like the Matrix as an IP, so that's kind of my next one. But yeah, Clank.
I literally I messaged Paul Denton, the designer of Clank, today and was like, "Where's more Clank Catacombs at? Make me more Clank Catacombs."
Yeah, you'd think that would be
because I was putting together my top 100, and like I have all the Clanks. I have all the Clanks just together as Clank Catacombs, but it's my catch-all for Clanks, and I'm like, why isn't there more Clank Catacombs yet? So I messaged the man.
Like, you'd even think like little tile packs or something would have came pretty quickly after that, like smaller things, but.
Yeah, I wonder if I guess they're working on other. I'm sure they're going to start announcing stuff soon because it's starting to get to like a lot of these companies are going to start announcing a bunch of stuff. One of the things we didn't announce in the news is that there is a Lord of the Rings Seven Wonders duel game.
Oh yeah, I saw
that just got announced, which is huge. I'm so getting that because Seven Wonders duel is amazing.
That should be in our next news, and we should also talk. Adam said this earlier. Our shelf of shame. What's the number one game to play on our shelf of shame?
Yeah. I don't bring that many games.
That's
home.
like, I'm not trying to be funny, but that's like 80% of Matt's collection.
Oh, 100%. If you see it behind me, chances are haven't played it.
This is the only one I have, and it's mostly I haven't played it because Courtney said it was too inappropriate. So I can't play.
You don't want to. You better get a permission slip from your mom before you play that nasty.
They came out with a new one, got new toppers that aren't. But
yeah,
they had to.
They like fixed it. They're like, oh, we don't want these to be as phallic. Oh, okay, no more fun, I guess.
was gonna play.
love
We
you,
were playing.
love you.
We were playing War for Arrakis, and Stephen Bonacore kept going on and on about how phallic the worms looked, and I'm like, it's way too small.
Worms.
I was like, they're way too small, Stephen. Like that's way too small. He's like, maybe. He's like, maybe for you.
That game is also in my shopping cart permanently right now. I
Which
think
one?
I just
Doom?
War for Arrakis. Yeah, War for
So
Arrakis.
buy it.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
You can have our copy.
you didn't
guys-
like
what?
Oh, here we go.
I'll come get your copy, and I have it right here.
Oh,
T,
you
I
didn't
think
like
You
it?
you could play Rob's copy.
You didn't like it?
No, I haven't
We haven't
played
played
it.
it.
I'm not gonna play that game.
Why not?
That's
Courtney
not
won't
for me.
play it.
That's not for
a
me.
Courtney game.
That is not a
that's-
Courtney game. That is like
I don't know. You
head-to-head,
haven't
not-
played
not
it yet.
Courtney game.
Like it's
Oh.
it's got really cool decisions in it. So it's such a good game.
Such
Oh
a
man,
good-
it's such a
That's
good
why.
game.
That's why he wanted to play with you, and Kent was so heartbroken when you played it without him because
I was
you know,
not heartbroken.
Just using-
I mean, he
was trying to
cried.
make Rob feel bad. You're not
He
helping.
was crying. Yeah, you sent me that.
And they
video.
haven't invited you to Helldivers since. That's crazy, Rob.
Whoa.
No. Rob stopped painting the other night to play Helldivers with me, so I can't.
Okay.
I
Okay.
did.
Listen, comment below if you want a live Helldiver stream. Courtney runs the show on that though, so she'll be in charge of it.
How hard is it to stream like just from one of those consoles?
Kent
Oh,
could
no
probably
problem
stream
at
from
all.
His
If
computer.
you just have the stream key, it just like just works.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Well,
mean,
if you
PlayStation
have,
has it integrated.
Xbox, it streams like straight to Twitch.
Well, that's
yeah.
cool.
But Helldivers is not on Xbox yet.
Oh, it's PlayStation.
I think PlayStation does PlayStation not go straight to Twitch too?
I don't think so.
Mm.
But a lot of people are
Uh-huh.
leaving Twitch.
Yeah. Either way.
Some
Video
of the
games
top-
is normally
some
on
of the
Twitch.
top streamers are all like on YouTube now.
Oh, really?
Hey.
Wow.
Dr. Disrespect, when he left and he got all mad and that whole thing went down.
The two-time? You talking about the two-time? I made Matt laugh.
Was it 1994, 1995, back-to-back blockbuster champion?
Yes. Some ridiculous thing like
I
that.
love it. Oh my gosh.
But he's so good, though. He's
Simply
such a
the
great streamer.
best.
I don't even watch his
July.
playing. Like, he could be an average player. I don't care. It just,
Best
I like
a
watching
man
him
can
just
get.
you
Oh my gosh. Oh, guys.
to live stream board games, I'd want to be like that.
All
I'd
right.
have
What about that
personality,
vertical
big
leap,
mullet.
though?
And to set up a bulletproof vest, I'd put on like a cooking apron because I'm fat. And
What?
Messed
Like a
up.
flowery one?
Yeah.
Flower.
boom.
Little Donna Reed.
I,
Oh,
and I
man.
get like a bunch of ribbons. You know, county fair winner, 2-time pie eating champion.
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
here for this.
Yeah,
We need to do a
Alright.
stream. I've been saying it. I think it's time for one live stream. It's got to happen.
Do
Little little board game arena or something. Rob
BGA?
dresses up. Rob dresses up like Mrs. Doubtfire for us.
When we did our last D&D with the group, I was the one that bought the dragon mask and stuff. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we do. We can do Eat the Reich. Just do that as a one shot. Break
fun.
Courtney and Kent
I'd love to
in.
be a vampire that
Do it live. A vampire that eats Nazis. We're gonna do it. I was gonna say, comment in the chat below if you want Rob to dress up like a vampire with an apron. Who eats Nazis?
All right, guys. Well, we're getting off the rails, so I guess we should call this thing. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you guys all on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.